Live from the CBS19 News Studio, this is CBS19 News at 6. Charlottesville News first.
In the moment, I was actually shook because I just thought if he seen me, he would just go, because the way that the police were talking, they were talking like he was just shooting at people for no reason.
Panic in the streets of Charlottesville late this morning as a deadly shootout between police and a wanted man also shuts down two main roads in the area. We've got continuing live coverage of the shocking display of gunfire in broad daylight. Police here 4 years already. Now Mayor Snook says he's up to running for council again. We've got his official announcement for his bid for re-election. And a local biotech company on the verge of a treatment for kidney failure will tell you who it is and why this treatment could be a game changer for those suffering from kidney disease. Good evening, I'm Rick Young. Ashley's off tonight. Our top story at 6, a man is dead after Charlottesville police say they spotted a wanted man. A gunfight erupted with what witnesses say was a lot of shots fired. Our CBS 19's Alexia Williams has been following this developing story all day long. Alexia, you said the suspect was shot by Albemarle officers, right?
Hey, Rick, that's right. And I'm actually at the scene where they say that the man allegedly pointed a gun towards officers. The man has since been identified as 44-year-old Billy Seitz of Albemarle County. He was later shot and killed by county tactical units. And we're just now learning that this happened roughly 2 hours after they tried to arrest him here near the Red Roof Inn.
I never expected to come outside and see this.
You got a guy with a gun in the woods down.
A swarm of officers in tactical gear trying to arrest a wanted suspect. It all started just after 10 this morning near the Red Roof Inn in Charlottesville. There, a detective spotted a man wanted by police.
I came out my backyard. It was like 20 police officers.
A witness who didn't want to be identified says that he was terrified with what was happening in his neighborhood.
In the moment, I was actually shook because I just thought if he seen me, he would just go, because the way that the police were talking, they were talking like he was just shooting at people for no reason.
44-year-old Billy Seitz of Albemarle County took off running into the woods by the Red Roof Inn near Hydraulic Road. He fired a gun after officers tried to engage with him, according to Chief Michael Koches with the Charlottesville Police Department.
Out of abundance of caution, we went ahead and initiated a lockdown in the area.
Koches says that's when they brought in Albemarle County's tactical team to respond. After negotiations broke down, Koches says that Seitz went towards the motel parking lot where there were people nearby. He says Albemarle officers tried to use what he called, quote, less lethal options, but they were unsuccessful. Seitz then went towards Albemarle officers and pointed his gun at them, Koches says. Tactical officers fired their weapons, hitting Seitz several times.
The suspect was transported to UVA Medical Center, where he later succumbed to his injuries. The suspect is identified as Billy Seitz. He's a 44-year-old white male Albemarle County resident.
About 30 minutes ago, there were armored trucks as well as county and state police all around the area that you see behind me, and only a few remain out here still. Now, I attempted to ask Chief Michael Koches about what charges Seitz was accused of, but I have yet to hear back from him. I will keep you updated with the latest. Live in Charlottesville, Alexia Williams, CBS 19 News.
All right, thanks, Alexia. CPD said that this is an ongoing investigation and state police will be taking over.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
And good evening, friends. Temperatures reached the 60s and 70s this afternoon under mostly sunny skies. We were able to get rid of the fog and a lot of the cold air early this morning, but now with some clouds moving in, the sky looks beautiful as we approach the sunset minutes, which, by the way, sunset officially 2 minutes from now. Lovely view at Scott Stadium thanks to our friends at WeatherStem as we look to the southwest. And those clouds, for the most part, are harmless. 55 degrees in Charlottesville and Louisa, Scottsville and Dillon at 64, 56 in Madison, Culpeper 57, and those clouds south of the area not going to bring us any rain, so we'll just have those clouds as company for your Tuesday evening. Skywise, just partly cloudy at worst, temperatures in the 50s through 10 p.m. and then falling into the 40s after midnight. Very warm weather returns for Wednesday. It'll be a wet pattern later this week, and still you're holding out for some snow, not getting it the next 7 days. We'll give you the breakdown of the very spring-like conditions for the first days of March in just a couple minutes.
In other news tonight, incumbent Charlottesville Mayor Lloyd Snook announcing his re-election bid for City Council today. He says the progress he's made in the past 4 years have set him up for another successful term. CBS 19's Felicity Taylor has more on his announcement from the newsroom. Felicity.
Rick, Mayor Snook says he brought civility and productivity back to council, and that's why he's running for re-election.
Council is capable of functioning as a unit, that it doesn't have to be a pitched battle every time.
Charlottesville Mayor Lloyd Snook says now that the city council has shown they can work together, he wants another term to actually get stuff done. He announced his re-election bid on Tuesday.
By experience and life interests and by the way that I work, I can help move us forward in a purposeful way, not necessarily a loud and showy way.
Snook says 4 years ago he had two goals: get the council back on task and get leaders to acknowledge that Charlottesville is a city and not a small town. And he says it worked.
And it's taken us a while to get here, but finally I think in 2023 we will see the culmination of all of that.
With another 4 years, he says he'll finish the projects he started.
Hopefully by the end of 4 years we will have completed, for example, we will have completed the Buford reconstruction by that time. We will have implemented a fair amount of the climate action plan, finalized the rezoning, and finalized all of the affordable housing plans.
Snook says if he's elected, he doesn't expect to be mayor again. The elected city council members appoint a mayor at their first meeting, and he says he's ready to pass the baton. Councilor Michael Payne has also recently announced his re-election bid, and the Democratic primary is on June 20th. In the newsroom, Felicity Taylor, CBS 19 News.
All right, thanks, Felicity. Some encouraging news for kidney disease patients. A local company discovering a new way to identify and treat kidney disease. Ample Biosolutions is a precision medicine company that studies RNA and gene expressions to understand diseases and how to better treat them. Today they released a test called NephroGene that examines people with kidney disease. Ampel President Amory Grammer says the test is a game changer because right now doctors only study kidney tissue, not the person's genes. This test will actually predict kidney damage before it's too late and help identify the right drugs to treat it.
This is really crucial for pharmaceutical drug development and should improve the chances of some of those 45 drugs in development actually getting approved by the FDA and coming to market, assisting lupus nephritis patients, potentially stopping the progression to dialysis and transplantation.
Grammer also says they hope to bring the test to clinics within 2 years, and in that time add more treatment drugs to the FDA approval list, which right now is just one. Well, here's a story that every college parent and student should see. 2 years ago, VCU freshman Adam Oakes died from alcohol poisoning in a hazing incident at the fraternity he was pledging. Oakes' family and VCU hosted a day of remembrance to honor his life and educate students about the dangers of hazing. Cameron Thompson has a story.
On the 2-year anniversary of his death, the parents of Adam Oakes unveil a plaque and bench in his honor Monday outside VCU's fraternity and sorority office. Just one part of a day full of emotions and tears as the VCU freshman was remembered for his contagious laugh and generous nature.
I only wish you all had the opportunity to meet, love, and get to know him while he was still here. He was a good kid with his whole future ahead.
The 19-year-old was an underground pledge with the Delta Chi fraternity and hazed during their Big Little Night, made to drink a large amount of alcohol. He would die of acute alcohol poisoning. His parents saying they feel lost since, waking each day to a world that no longer has their sunshine.
Every day is gray and overcast. We also lost our faith that day, not only in God, but in the goodness of people.
But since his passing, Oakes' family has also fought back against hazing culture, including pushing for tougher laws and creating the Love Like Adam Foundation, holding lectures on campuses around Virginia. Other anti-hazing advocates Monday also called on schools across the U.S. to change.
Adam was not the first pledge to be hazed the way that he was hazed. He was not an anomaly. It wasn't something that just happened to Adam.
For their part, university officials pledged to keep building off the changes they've already implemented.
Today is a day of remembrance, and it is the beginning. It is not an end of a safer, more positive future for students at VCU and everywhere.
I just really believe if you see something, say something, and don't be afraid to call 911. And that's exactly why we had in Adams Law.
The family and university also released a new training video Monday telling Oaks' story and held screenings for VCU students. Meanwhile, the Oaks family says they will not stop until hazing does.
This didn't have to happen. And for us to go around speaking at engagements, it's really to save other people's children and grandchildren.
And regarding those next steps, the Oaks family wants to take on the issue of the General Assembly next year to pass laws requiring hazing training to start in middle school and increase the penalty for a hazing from a misdemeanor to a felony. Well, coming up next on CBS 19 News at 6, President Biden touches down in Virginia. We'll tell you why. And a new art school opens up in Orange County. We'll tell you why the founders say their mission is to educate young people. After Travis in the forecast.
If you like sunshine, you better enjoy tomorrow because the remainder of the work week will be cloudy with rain. Talk about that in detail like this.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
A very good evening, friends. Hope your Tuesday has been a good one. Skies clear in Madison as we take a look at the JES Skyline Network cam. Madison, I apologize. The warm air didn't quite get to you today. Your temperatures in the upper 50s and lower 60s. And I say that because some parts of Nelson, Buckingham County saw lower to middle 70s. Skies clear from Charlottesville and north, but a little further south in Nelson, Buckingham, and Fluvanna counties. A little line of clouds just kind of rolling along the Route 60 corridor, and they'll stay there, not producing any rain or precipitation. 57 degrees outside of Railroad Studio, which showed 55. Carter Mountain at 54 right now. Compared to this time yesterday, we are quite a bit warmer in central Virginia. But what happened was we had that cold air wedge stuck in place from yesterday. The warm air tried to erode it out, and it just took its sweet time, as tends to happen. But still, all told, temperatures in the lower 60s this afternoon, still considered unseasonably mild. So high pressure going to keep us relatively clear tonight, except for this one little line of clouds. But tonight, a warm front will lift northward, warmer air for everybody tomorrow, and skies a mix of sunshine and clouds. So it will be a very pleasant Wednesday around the area for the first day of March. 50 degrees at 10 a.m. in Charlottesville, 60 at noontime, 65 degrees at 4 p.m. despite the clouds. I don't expect any rain during the daytime hours, but Wednesday night, different story. Futurecast showing the clouds just kind of hang around intermittently through much of the day. First of two low pressure systems will bring rain late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then daylight hours Thursday should be dry. Second, more potent system moves in Friday morning, and that'll give us rain for much of the day. Maybe a touch of sleet in the higher elevations, but as far as widespread wintry precipitation, not going to happen. You take those two systems, and we could end up with another inch of rain area-wide by the start of the weekend. So even though it's not in the form of snow, we'll take the rain to keep things wet. Your forecast tonight: a few clouds here and there, mid-30s to lower 40s for overnight lows. And tomorrow, calling it partly cloudy, 66 the high in Charlottesville, 67 for Orange, 65 in Culpeper. For areas around and north of Charlottesville, this will be an improvement. But for areas south of Charlottesville, it'll actually be a couple degrees colder than today. Cardinal Home Center extended forecast, 74 degrees on Thursday, rain most of the day on Friday. As far as the weekend goes, it should be very pleasant with lower to middle 60s Saturday and Sunday, dry on Monday, and maybe some showers next Tuesday afternoon. But of course, since it's going to be dry this evening, I can say this now, Rick. For the first time since records began in the 1880s at McCormick Observatory on UVA grounds, with all data for all days, this is the first winter on record in which we have not had any measurable snow during meteorological winter, being December, January, and February in 140 years.
A record indeed.
Yep.
Well, thanks a lot, Travis. In other news, President Joe Biden traveled to Virginia Beach today to make remarks about the ACA and health care costs. The trip comes amidst questions on whether he will not or will soon announce his run for re-election in 2024. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says that Biden used the event today to criticize Republicans for demanding concessions for raising the nation's borrowing limit, while also tying the GOP to policy proposals that Biden says will raise health care prices. An Orange County couple recently opened an art school for people of all ages. CBS 19's Brenna Kiefner learned more about the curriculum and the importance of learning artistic skills.
The Blue Ridge Studio of Fine Arts has opened in Orange County and is ready to help students start creating. Husband and wife team John and Lena Murray are classically trained artists who wanted to teach all generations of art, regardless of their amount of experience.
We give them some basic exercises to give them confidence and to learn about the visual world, how to interpret it and how to make something look dimensional. We teach just the basics of seeing how to see.
They are offering children and adult level drawing and painting classes. The Murrays are teaching these classes in a classical approach, and students can learn in all mediums and paint in oils, watercolors, pastels, and more. The inspiration behind teaching art to Orange County is to give their community tools and freedom to express themselves and find out what they want to do with the things they learn in class.
By having these tools, you can do anything you want. And you can also go into other areas, like you don't have to become a painter, but you can be a designer, you can be an architect, you can go into movies.
The couple also touched upon the fact that art is a therapy outlet to many people, and their classes are prepared to let people release any stresses they may have.
We see that they're already getting confidence. Also, they're forming friendships with other students.
We want to see people happy about doing it because we're happy about doing it.
To begin painting your own canvas, you can visit our website for more information. In Orange County, Brenna Kiefner, CBS 19 News.
A big one over at JPJ tonight is Virginia hosts Clemson. Both teams trying to stay in the ACC title race. We'll have a live preview coming up next in sports. Plus, the UVA women get underway at the ACC tournament tomorrow. We hear from Coach Mox on a roller coaster of a first season with the Who's. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Brian Strickland from Wilkinson Wealth Management, and here are your stocks of local interest for today.
You're watching CBS 19 Sports, winner of the Outstanding Sports Coverage Award from the Virginia Association of Broadcasters.
A two-game skid has given Virginia very little wiggle room in the last week of the regular season. Coming into tonight, the Cavaliers are somewhere between another ACC regular season title and falling out of the top four in the ACC entirely. In the bigger picture, UVA fell 7 spots to number 13 in the latest AP Top 25 poll, and ESPN's latest NCAA tournament projections has the Cavaliers as the last 4 seed. Now, of course, those are all just numbers and projections. A lot's going to be decided on the actual court here tonight, with Clemson riding into town. A win for Virginia would lock up a top 3 seed in next week's ACC tournament. On the other side, a win for Clemson would do the same for them. Now, a win for Virginia would also help build some momentum that a lot of Virginia players talked about last Saturday, coming off the loss to UNC, and help start get into March and the madness of March, which is only a couple of hours away. Now, for fans expecting a different team entirely out here tonight, you might want to forget about that, because Tony Bennett said he's not going to rip up the entire playbook this late in the season.
When you get to this stage, I've said this many times, you know, you are who you are, mainly your identity, how you play, the guys that are playing. There might be some substitutions here and there and little adjustments, but you know, you look at just becoming the best version of yourself and say, okay, let's tighten things up and let's get ourselves as ready as we can. There aren't wholesale changes that you can do, and you don't sometimes want to overreact. And again, we've been in so many close games this year, been successful, and again, you know, whether you're in a little bit of a slump shooting the ball or scoring or something's off, it's that fine of a line.
Now, Now, a month ago, many people circled this game as almost a de facto ACC regular season championship game, but both teams have gone through the slumps. Clemson lost 4 of 5 games at one point. The Tigers have responded recently, winning back-to-back games in blowout fashion, including last week against NC State. Now, Clemson coach Brad Burnell said it simply just started clicking again. He expects the same out of this Virginia team.
There's just times you miss a few shots. Maybe there's 1 or 2, somebody else makes. I don't see anything. They haven't forgot how to play. They haven't forgot. He hasn't forgotten how to coach. I can tell you that. They're a terrific team that maybe just hasn't played quite as well or haven't had the ball go in. Winning is really hard. And, Virginia had a couple bad performances maybe, or maybe didn't play quite as well or shoot as well. Some of this is just basketball.
While the men arrive in Greensboro next week, the women tip off the ACC tournament on Wednesday, and those Wahoos were down in Greensboro for the practice day today. Virginia will face Wake Forest in the first game of the tourney. With a win, Coach Mox could lock up a winning record, the first for the program in 5 years. Last game, Cavaliers just played with 6 players. While Coach Mox was unsure how many they will have for tomorrow, she has seen a resilient UVA team throughout the last couple of weeks.
Nobody really wants to have a 500 season or losing season when you have a chance to have a winning season. So, winning is the goal, but also getting better is the goal, and building and establishing culture was the goal. So I think we've done a lot of that, but at the same time, just being able to finish strong and build for the future would be great. We persevered through a lot of adversity. I think, there's a lot of things that were thrown our direction, injuries, people, leaving the program for various reasons, but culture is important to me, and culture wins. And so, I stand strong on that, and our players have bought into that and shown a lot of fight.
UVA baseball at home across the street at the Dish, picking up a 3-0 win over VMI. We're going to have highlights from that game coming up later at 10 and 11. Of course, we'll have highlights from this game as well coming up later at 10 and 11 as well. For now, that's it for sports. Back with more after the break.
Mid-60s on Wednesday, rain late Wednesday into Thursday with another soaker on Friday. And then we level off with lower to middle 60s for the weekend and early next week with more showers on Tuesday. March starts tomorrow, not ruling out any March snows. With a forecast like that, Rick, it's going to be really, really tough.
This has been, for lack of a better word, an amazing winter.
Yes, a very snow-free winter.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Travis. Thanks for joining us at 6. We'll see you tonight right here at 11.